Coach on the Couch is sponsored by North Central Technical College. Did you know? You can start your 4-year degree locally. Visit ntc.edu to find out how. Visiting with Edgar Wildcats girls basketball coach Tom McCarty. Coach, before we get started talking about this year's Wildcats team, just remind us how many years you've been coaching basketball and how many years at Edgar?
Sure. This is the third season at Edgar and 13th total as a varsity head coach.
Okay, so you probably know a thing or two. I think we're in good shape here talking to Coach McCarty. Coach, let's talk about this year's basketball team. We're kind of headed down the stretch of at least the calendar part of the year. What kind of letter grade? You're a school principal there as well. What kind of letter grade would you put on your team so far this year?
It's been a unique start to the season because we started not very healthy. And so it's been I would say we've done as well as I would have expected to date. But we are just now kind of getting to where we want to be. We started the season without Michaela Workus, who's a pretty integral part of what we do. And so she did not play for the first 4 games, and it's been a slow return, but we have her back at 100%. And so now we're experimenting with different lineups and things, but we're right where we want to be, and we're heading in the right direction. This is an important stretch. We've got a pretty tough schedule over the next 2 weeks with Mosinee, Stratford, Amherst, and Columbus over the next 2 weeks. So excited to see where we're at.
Yeah, people get a chance to see you at home over the next or this week, and then down at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point at the Century Classic. Tell us about your involvement and why you choose to take your team to the Century Classic down in Stevens Point.
Well, what a historic event. It's been around so many years. And last year we went up to Northland Pines for a holiday tournament, and that was great. But when the Century called for us this year, we just thought this was a great opportunity to take our kids down, see a college campus, play on a college floor, but be a part of an event that's so big and so historic. And they do a great job of highlighting teams and players down there. And so we just felt like what a great opportunity for this year's team, a group of seniors that have seen a lot, and take them to a big event like that is as prestigious as that.
5 seniors, according to my records, 5 seniors on this year's team. One of them, Reagan Borkert. She's right now through this point in the season, she's averaging half of your team's points every game out, 20 points a game. Is her pace something you can continue along with bringing that total team average up, or how does she fit in the mix? And how, I guess maybe a better way for me to phrase this is there room for the other girls to grow into it and even score more points and keep Reagan at the pace she's at?
Well, absolutely. There's definitely room to grow. Getting Michaela back is going to help balance some of that scoring. But the reality is too, when you've got a player like Reagan starting to average 20 a game, now teams start to pay a little more attention and take some things away. And so other players are going to have to step up because people are going to game plan against Reagan, and that's just going to be the reality. But she's had a great start to the season, and she's going to continue to have a great season. But we definitely have some pieces that are going to fit together and step up and are more than capable. And the last 2 games, we've already started to see that with a couple of different players in double digits. And so that'll grow.
Just coming off a volleyball season, some of those girls on your basketball team went to a sectional final in volleyball. Is that experience transferable to basketball or transferable to the other girls on this team?
Yeah. And I would even go back to last spring softball team and the run that they made. A lot of these girls were on that team. And that was after losing 2 straight sectional basketball games. A lot of these girls were on that team. Volleyball losing a sectional semifinal the year before, and then to have that breakthrough in softball and then to get to that sectional final in volleyball, that experience is transferable because what we're seeing is athletes that expect to win and are learning how to play in big games. And now they're not only learning how to play, but they're learning how to win those big games. And that's important.
Yeah, thanks, Coach, for the reminder. State softball team from last year. That was a lot of fun to observe. Merriwood South basketball, tough conference. I mean, it's gritty, it's tough, a lot of good athletes. What's your part in helping these girls maneuver through a really tough basketball conference?
I think it's preparation, making sure that we're always prepared night in and night out, making sure that our practice has a high level of focus and energy. But it's also talking to them and being open with our players about how their bodies are feeling, what they need out of a practice. Do they need a lighter day? Can we go heavier? Because I think that's the biggest piece is making it to February with health, and that's a big piece of trying to be consistent in that. And we don't always get it right, but we're always kind of being conscious of how our girls are feeling going into weeks and what they need, and but then that preparation piece, making sure that we're still always prepared.
Goal setting and conference championships, probably part of that goal setting conversation you and the girls had. You dropped a game to Assumption a couple weeks ago. You'll get a chance at them at home in January, coming up next month. Conference championships, though, no longer part of a postseason seed conversation. The WI supercomputer cares nothing about your conference championship. How though do you keep the girls focused on those types of goals throughout the season?
Yeah, I think it's about, we talk always about just being our best every day, and wanting to give your best against the best. And I think it's just talking, making sure that every game is big in their minds, and one game at a time. But this matters the most right now, because a conference championship, that's a big deal. If you can win most games in a tough conference like the Merriwood South through the course of 3 months, that's really special. And so it is, making them aware of that as a goal, but taking it one game at a time and trying to just be your best every day. Because like you said, there is also that supercomputer formula now where every game matters and you got to be able to perform.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But they took that argument of a conference championship out of your repertoire. So that it's been an interesting transition into that. We'll save that conversation though for a different talk.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the other girls on your team. We talked about Reagan. We mentioned Leah, or I did anyway. Right now, Leah Davis. You talked about some others. Who are one or two girls as the season progresses? People come and watch your team play that they're going to become acquainted with because of their play on the basketball floor.
Yeah, one I would highlight who I think has been an unsung hero of this year's team is Morgan Schnelly. We came into the year really with question marks around the point guard position, losing Malia Hosley last year, and Skyly Manicky. And that's not a natural spot for Morgan. She is an athlete who's going to defend anybody, but putting the ball in her hands is not something that she does naturally. And she was a little hesitant, and she has done a phenomenal job this year, taking the reins on there, still continuing to guard other teams' best players, getting us some steals, finding hustle points, knocking down open shots. If you come watch us play, you will never doubt her work ethic. And that's what's the most fun about watching Morgan play. So I think, mentioning her is important. Amber Scripshock is another kid like that. We ask her to play post and she's 5'5", and she is just tough as nails. She's I think right now second on our team in rebounds. She's guarding 6-foot post players. She's taking it to 6-foot post players, in the post. So it's just another kid who's just tough, doing what we're asking her to do in our role. You mentioned Leah knocking down threes is a big piece of what we do, and we talk about where there's room to grow as teams game plan against Reagan. Obviously, it's that inside out, idea that if they take away Reagan, Leah's going to get open shots, and that's just the reality. And so she knocks them down. Alyssa Bauman's another hard work kid who just plays great defense. And then Taylor Lemmer is another kid who's taken on a lot of that ball handling responsibility at our point guard position, who's done tremendously. And I mentioned Michaela already coming back from injury. She's a key piece. She just changes the whole dynamic of our team through her energy.
Coach, you just mentioned when you come watch us play. So I want to end on that. It wasn't that long ago that people were being told to stay out of the gyms. And so now it's so important. We found out, especially from a couple of years ago, it's so important to come and support these kids in person. So just kind of leave you with that. Just advertise your team and remind people that you got to come down to the gym and cheer these girls on in person.
It costs $3 to get into a high school game here, and you will not find better entertainment for $3 anywhere there is. You can come see high school kids passionate about their school, playing the game the right way, working their tails off, and then you're going to see a gym full of people with school spirit. And there is no better place to spend $3 than at a high school basketball game this winter, or high school wrestling meet, whatever you want to come support. But get out and see these kids play. You come watch our Edgar team, you're going to see a team that plays really hard, that they're really positive. They really get after just cheering each other on. They play basketball the right way. They share the ball. This is a great group of girls to come watch, but get out and watch a game.
Yeah, excellent. I think that was very well said, Coach. Thank you so much for the time. Edgar Wildcats girls basketball coach Tom McCarty, best of luck this year.
Thanks for having me.
Did you know you can start your 4-year degree locally and get the same college experience closer to home? From the moment you step onto our campus, we'll be there for you, supporting your dreams, saving you money, and giving you a well-rounded academic and social experience with student housing, clubs, sports, and leadership opportunities. With NTC's liberal arts transfer degree, you can start here and go anywhere, including guaranteed transfer to UW-Madison, North Central Technical College. Transferability made easy.